So last season for the Miami Heat was a major bounce back year by making the Eastern Conference Finals and being one game away from an NBA Finals appearance when you consider what had happened the previous year when they lost in the first round to the Milwaukee Bucks in a nasty sweep. But now heading into the 2022-2023 NBA season, what should the expectations be for this Heat team? Because when you come so close to making the finals, I would think the expectations would be sky high heading into the next year. So let's take a look at this Heat team as it is currently constructed and see what is the highest ceiling for them heading into next season. Now on the positives for this team, obviously the duo of Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo is still one of the best in the entire league, and Butler has showed during his time in Miami that he can carry a team for a deep playoff run. They also still got a pretty deep roster with solid quality players like Tyler Herro, Kyle Lowry, even though I have some things I want to talk about with him later on in the video, and then guys like Gabe Vincent, Victor Oladipo, who showed some promise in his playoff minutes this past season, and Max Strus, who became a reliable shooter for the starting five in the playoffs as well. I also still think that the Heat are one of the more better defensive teams in the league as well. Even though they lost PJ Tucker in free agency to Philadelphia, I think Miami should still rank in the top 10 defensively next season with the current guys on the roster. So all in all, when you look at Miami, they're still a very good team, and they're still a contender. But I do have some concerns about them for next season as well, and I want to get into those right now, starting off with the main thing for me, which is, can Bam Adebayo step up and be that consistent second option for a scorer come playoff time? Because Jimmy Butler at times is really just carrying this team big time on the offensive end, and they really don't get a lot. They just play defense, and then it's Jimmy Butler scoring 30, 40 points. That's what it felt like a lot during the 2022 playoffs. So for me, I got to see more from Bam, because right now when I look at him, I see him more as a third option or a fourth option when it comes to this team as a scorer. He's a great player and he's the second most talented guy. But when it comes to scoring options, he's not better than Jimmy and he's not better than Tyler Herro. Those guys are both better scorers. And I think Miami should really consider going hard after a Donovan Mitchell, or maybe, even though this is a long shot, a Kevin Durant, to give this team that other big time scoring option that can create his own shot and knock down those key buckets to get pressure off of Butler in those situations. Second concern for me is the play of Kyle Lowry. And yes, he does contribute to this team with leadership and off the court stuff, but on the floor, he kind of showed he was slowing down a little bit. He did have his games where he looked pretty good, but father time never loses. And he's 36 years old, he's getting older and older. He showed that he struggled at times. He's dealt with injuries in the playoffs this past season that hindered him as well. I think this is something to really just be more cautious about if you're the Miami Heat. Not something that you want to worry too much, because he's still going to give you that same production, but just something to, keep a watchful eye on for heading into next season. And then lastly for me is Tyler Herro. Tyler Herro is very valuable to this team in the playoffs, and he is in the regular season as well. But the question is, how much more valuable is he in the playoffs? Because in the regular season, we all know what he can do. Scores at an elite level. He won the Sixth Man of the Year. He comes in, he does his job, which is score points coming off the bench. That's his job. And he did show improvements in playmaking and other aspects. But in the playoffs, besides that bubble run, he's kind of struggled. You look in the series in 2021 versus Milwaukee, didn't play good. You look at the playoffs this year, he didn't play good. So if you're Tyler Herro and you're going to give no scoring, or at least on the level that you give during the regular season, and then you're also giving horrendous defense, because he always gives you bad defense. It don't matter where he's at. It could be a damn Pro-Am game. It doesn't matter. He is going to give you bad defense. And if he's going to give you that, and then not score 20 points, or at least score efficient, then I think it just lowers his value come playoff time. And this is why I very much, if I was the Miami Heat, wouldn't mind moving off of him for the right player, obviously, not for just some random scrub. But if a Donovan Mitchell trade comes into the equation, I wouldn't mind moving off of him. Obviously, Miami doesn't have the exact pieces Utah wants, aka draft picks, like the Knicks do. But if they can go out there and acquire some picks and throw Tyler Hero in there, they can make a good offer. And that's what I think they should do. Because adding a guy like Mitchell would make this team so much more like lethal on the offensive end. And I think they're like similar to Boston. But Boston just had the scores. That's the problem. Boston had to go to guys where Miami didn't. Miami had one. And that was it. So I think these are things to watch for on this Heat team. I still think Miami is a top 4 team in the East. And they very much can make a finals run next season even with this roster. But there's some things that I can see derailing their big finals run hopes if they don't fix them or look into these problems. Anyways, that's going to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Link will be down in the description below. This has been a checkup where we talk hoops and hoops only. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.